Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. Good afternoon. Today is 30th of December and it's time for the very last Slightly Shambolic Shuffle of the entire year. It's actually going out the same day as I'm recording this as well. This is Baron's classic car auctions at Marchwood, which is just near Southampton. That's where I got my Volvo C70, and they've got a bumper catalogue today for their December auction. So we're going to go around and see what lovely delights there are. And straight away, we've got this 1996 Jaguar XJ6 3.2 Select Automatic. This is actually a Japanese import. Some of these cars have valuations, some of them don't. The valuations don't necessarily reflect the hammer price, as we found out on the last couple of occasions that we've been here. There we are, straight up giveaway at Japanese import square plate. So it should be in very nice condition. Jaguar Japan Limited sticker on the back. Sometimes the cars are open, sometimes they're not. This one might be, I don't know. No, that one's not. But nevertheless, we have some other stuff that's right here as well. I have to keep checking the catalogue, which is next to me. So if there are some delays whilst I'm scrolling through, just making look for the next one, then that's why. Yes, there's a lot more stuff actually here than there would normally be. This place is absolutely rammed. Actually, I can see one that we can have a look at straight away, because I've got the details here in front of me. We'll get to everything, viewers, don't worry. Look at this. 1971 Chevrolet Camaro. This is the RS split bumper model. It was restored as a tribute to a Z28. It's not a real Z28. I don't really know anything about American cars, to be honest with you. I'm not very strong on them, so if there are things that I'm overlooking, do forgive me. The estimate on this car is between £25,000 and £28,000. See if it's open. That looks like it might be, actually. There we go. Nice wide door opening this car has. Just make sure we don't touch that BMW. No, we're not. It's good. Looks like the back seats are actually reasonably usable in this as well, which is good. Extra gauges. I don't think they even made this car in right-hand drive, to be honest. Possibly they'd elsewhere in the world, but I don't think we even got these over here. Seems quite a reasonable car for that kind of money. Right, let me check my catalogue and see what else we can look at. Something that I'm particularly looking forward to is this 1992 Daimler 66 5.3 automatic. This is a really late Series 3. The 66 was actually made, along with the XJ12, for a bit longer than the other Series 3 variants, because they didn't actually adapt the XJ40 body shell to take V12 engine until 1992, so they kept the Series 3 in production for a lot longer. This one clearly is open, and I think we have a beige leather interior, viewers, with wood. And I do like a nice beige leather interior. This one's probably open, yes it is. Actually, the bonnet's open as well, we can have a look under there as well. Just very careful we don't knock that Chevy next to it. I might even get in and have some beige leather interior goods. Oh, look at those carpets. Oh, viewers. Yes, a T-handle like on the old XJS, and wood, and I'll point out now, viewers, that we're not actually going to stay for the auction itself today. There's a couple of reasons for that, not the least of which is I might end up actually buying something, which is not good for my bank balance or my lady wife's mental health. Oh look, it's got the Mark III Fiesta electric window switch. So it's an electric mirror switch. It's also using them on day and things. Wow, that is... Yeah, no reserve on this one either. Let's just gingerly open this bonnet very carefully. Nah, it's going to take a bit more, isn't it? Hold on a moment, viewers. Look at that view, as 5.3 litres of sheer and utter baffling complexity. I think you only get about 10 miles per gallon on one of these as well, but... Right, let's get out of here before I start registering and bid on this. Bit of a haphazard way of going around because the catalogue I've got here doesn't match up with the order the cars are presented, so I'm afraid that's just the way that it is. I have to go through here in the right order because it's really easy to miss stuff, because sometimes there's stuff in here that's not actually for sale, and equally sometimes things are actually missing from in here, so it's best to go through the catalogue very carefully. So 1987 BMW 635 CSI. I remember the days when these were about £5,000, they're not anymore. I mean, this looks in really nice condition. It's a so it's 87 on a D. It's probably an auto at that price. I think the manual's a little bit more. Oh, look at, wow. It's about as 80s as it gets, isn't it? Look at this blue leather. Everything's blue, including the little housing for the automatic transmission lever. And look at those amazing seat controls. That's fantastic. Another control on there. So yeah, guide price between £14,000 and £17,000. I really like this colour, and we might be able to get in the engine bay as well. Yes, there we go. As far as I remember, this is a straight 6. That is really nice. Estimate seems very reasonable to me. This car's clearly had some quite recent work, so fitted in the underbonnet mat and things like that. There's a little lamp there. Let's put that down carefully. Viewers, it's going to be a longer one than usual, I think, today. So, 1970 Austin 3 litre. I've driven a Land Crab, I've driven a Maxi, and here's the other one that shares the doors. Apart from that funny Panther car, it's the 3 litre. These are actually quite good cars. I know people who really love these. There are not tons of them left. A lot of them ended up at the banger track and things like that. But this one's estimated. Let me just check my information on here. Between £7,000 and £8,000. That seems about right to me. Again, big, comfy seats. It's not really typical Isagonis to have all this wood in here, but of course this was a luxury car replacing the A110 Westminster. Those interior door handles will be very familiar to people who love BMC and Leyland products. Look at that stereo. This is an automatic one. There was a manual. I think there are more manuals actually than the autos. I'm not even sure you got power steering in these, to be honest. Yes. Hopefully you did, because it looks a little bit of a heavy car to drive. But yeah, I like that. I like that quite a lot. Someone's fitted some new tyres to that as well. It's not perfect. I can see there's one or two cosmetic things to be sorted out on this car, but it's pretty good. So it's one of two BMW Z3s here today, this 2000 model. When I drove a 3 litre model back in February on the channel, belonging to James Martin JM1 Cars, I was told that you couldn't pick these up for no budget reviews money anymore. But this is not too far off. I think this is estimated at between £1,900 and £3,000. Certainly from my experience of having been here the last few months and having a lot of these 1.9 Z3s here, is that they reach about that, between £2,500 and £3,000 to be the going rate for one of these. So quite cheap way into sort of sports car motoring, with a lot of mechanicals from the E36 and something from the E30 in these actually. Next to it we've got something a bit more, well, a bit rarer, the Scirocco. This is a Scarlet Special Edition, it's in 1988. You need to check in here what the guide price is. Again, it's estimated between £1,900 and £3,000. Seems a little bit low to me. We should go for a bit more than that. Look at that, we've got a little tax disc holder for Surrey Lodge Motor Company there. No. Maybe it's because it's done £133,000, I don't know. It's going to need a bit of bodywork. I mean, you can see rust bubbling in places. I mean, it's not perfect by any means at all. I mean, there's quite a few things that probably do need addressing in the long term. But look at these lights that have the kind of, I suppose, whiteout effect rather than blackout on this. Let's see if this is open. You know, if this is a Golf GTI Mark II, it would be worth a lot more than this. It's just clearing a bumper of that Datsun 280Z there. Yeah, very familiar kind of Volkswagen 1980s dash, isn't it? And that good old hazard switch that was the same as my parents' Mark I Jetta. So yeah, cosmetically it's a little bit tired perhaps, but it's not bad. Something else which seems to be quite good value to me and attracting a lot of interest is this Austin A35. It's a 58, so it's quite a late one. The A40 Farina came out the same year, so it is quite a late one. See if the bonnet release is still working on this. There we go. Yeah, it is. I need two hands to open that actually, so I'm not going to. But this is definitely open. Someone's checking out to see if it's solid. The anterior is actually pretty good. Yeah, that's been retrimmed at some point, hasn't it? One of the ways to tell an A35 from an A30 is this much larger rear screen. See if that door actually... It's a bit weird, isn't it? So what I will do, actually, since I've been talking about how to open the bonnet and things, I think we might actually do that. Let's pause a second. There we go, a little A-series down there. Very, very simple to work on and easy. Same powertrain, of course, as the contemporary Morris Minor. Just lower that carefully. There we go. It's not my greasy hands, to be honest. No, my hands are clean. Ooh, I found something else tasty here as well. 1965 Jaguar E-Type Series 1 Roadster. Very nice. What is the estimate on this? 70 to 85,000. That's quite cheap for a Series 1 Roadster. Ah, there we go. That'd be the reason why. Yeah, it's the left-hand drive one. That gear lever looks like it might have been betraying something. Let's just see in the detailed information if that's had a new gearbox in it. Yeah, it's got a 5-speed gearbox. So the original Moss gearbox would have had just 4 speeds and no synchro on first. Makes them a lot easier to drive. The E-Type that I drove back in January 2020 also had a 5-speed gearbox in it. That was a lot easier. Very beige. Very nice. So right at the bottom end of the catalogue, if I just scroll through it, is this Renault Megane CC. It's not the sort of car I expect to actually see at this particular auction, but nevertheless it's here. It's a 2007, I think. Yes, it is. The estimate on it's very low. But again, I'm not sure these are worth tons of money. It's done less than 60,000 miles. It's up between 1,000 and 2,000. I mean, it's nothing, I would say, that special yet. I mean, maybe give it some time, but hopefully the roof works and everything. 1987 Mercedes W126 420 SEC V8 engine. Guide price between 8,500 and 11,000. I mean, viewers, it's more important to me. If I can get in here, we go. Very careful, I don't want to damage this BMW next to it. It's got a beige leather interior with wood. And the seatbelt butler appears to be working as well. Very nice, viewers. There's that funny old style Mercedes handbrake. Oh, and someone's left the bonnet open as well. Suppose we could take a look. I might need two hands, so just for a second. Oh, headlamp wiper action as well. What's happened actually is someone's opened the bonnet and not closed it properly on one side. That's going to be a little bit too difficult for me to get out. I need to move on. So, let's see what else we've got around here. Let's have a look at that MGB. Why not? Two MGBs in the sale today. There's a red one and a blue one. Let's look at this blue one. It's a 73. It's estimated between £5,000 and £6,000. The colour actually comes to life a bit more on camera than it does in real life. It looks a bit flatter and duller in real life. Often, you know, photography does flatter some cars sometimes. And we've got little things like missing mirrors and things. So this needs a bit of work, but it's only up for £5,000 to £6,000. It was restored in 1997 at a cost of £13,000. So it's an older restoration, but to my eye it doesn't look too bad. Let's see if we can get in. Go. Ooh, someone's of lots of taste because they've put a beige leather interior in it, viewers. Not a lot of wood, but very nice. At some point I will get an MGB on the channel, viewers. It's just a question of call date, running diaries and things, which is I think seems to be happening at the moment. So someone's started up a Daimler over there. 1987 BMW 520i E28 Auto. Apparently this is a really nice one because the estimate is £9,000 to £7,500. Can't remember if these are the 6 or 4 cylinders. Listen to that. Still sounds good. So very late E28 this. The E34s came in the next year. I mean, that's perfect, isn't it? That's absolutely perfect. You can still see very much that the whole dash is orientated towards the driver. One of these sort of older school BMWs. There we go. That's very nice, views. I mean, I prefer a beige leather interior, of course, but you know, we'll take what we can get. Interestingly, this 1963 Jaguar Mark II 3.4 has been modified with a 5-speed gearbox and power steering. It's a very dark green. I don't know how well that comes across on camera. It's not black or anything, it is dark green, which is actually what British racing green should be. It should be almost black, which is what this is like. I feel like a bit of a cad. I feel like I should be, you know, somehow involved in a great train robbery. So it would have had an automatic gearbox originally. It's had a 5-speed manual conversion. Very nice. I mean, it's not quite a beige leather interior views, but it's still very nice. All the lights are working in here. It smells great as well. That's lovely. So estimate is between £18,000 and £20,000. That seems about right to me. If it was a 3.8, it would be considerably more than that. But I've spotted something else which is rather special as well, and you have to go around this way in order to see it. So this is a Volkswagen Type 2 T1 sort of Samba recreation. Weirdly, I think this has been imported from somewhere, because the splitty windscreen Volkswagens like this is, they were discontinued in 1967, and that's a 1970 plate, and I've checked and it is declared as being manufactured in 1970. So I think this car or well, bus, I suppose, has come in from Brazil, because that's what we made until 1975. It's locked, I'm afraid. Now the guide price for this is somewhat interesting. So it's not a genuine Samba, it's been sort of converted, and the first registration in this country was this year, so it's been newly done, between £34,000 and £38,000. Now, I'm no expert on these, but that's a lot less than if it was a genuine Samba. Another MGB GT here. This is a V8. Now this would have had rubber bumpers originally, because it's a 76. Quite a late V8 in that case. It's got this sort of interesting sort of period upgrade front spoiler, with a nice deep front spoiler on this. The car to me actually looks almost orange. It's sort of Flamenco red. It's a lot brighter again on camera than it actually is in real life, which is interesting. So there's all the engine work in there. One of the ways you can tell straight away that it's actually not a chrome bumper car originally is from the interior. So if the doors open, which it is, there we go, you can see that those are the later seats in there. Doesn't matter or anything. Some people like rubber bumpers, some people like the chrome ones. You know, it's not the kind of thing that's going to get me too upset, is it? So very late. 2.5 V8 engine Daimler here, at this point known as the V8 250, 69, so last year of production. The XJ6 has been made at this time. It's an older restoration from what I can gather. Guide price between £8,000 and £10,000. I've heard this running, that was running a little bit earlier on. Last car to use an engine of Daimler's own design. You might have a little sit in here actually for using this enormous red leather bench seat. Ooh, I feel like a cad again. I feel like I should be one of the getaway drivers for a great train robbery. Look at all this wood in here. Yeah, it's automatic gearbox in this particular one. I bet this makes a great noise. Actually, I know it makes a great noise, I've heard it run. That's fantastic. Unlike the other one though, over there, the 3.4, that probably doesn't have power steering in it, so that would put some people off, I think. But it is a bit cheaper than the other one, so there we go. Yeah, for an older restoration, that doesn't look too bad. The paint's a little bit flat, but you could probably bring it back, couldn't you? Sometimes the most surprising cars turn out to have no reserve, and this is one of them. This 1990 Porsche 928 S4 automatic. I'm sure some of these cars you've seen at previous auctions, perhaps in October and November. I don't know if we've seen this one before, but I do like a nice slice of Porsche goodness. This one's an auto, most of them actually were. Is that a boot release for yours? Don't know how that works. Oh well. Yeah, it's a bit more conventionally laid out in here than a 924. Obviously I've had a 924 on the channel quite recently. Just make sure we don't trip over anything. Now, is the boot opening? No, it isn't. Obviously that button didn't do anything. Oh well. Hopefully they'll sell this today. Oh, this is seriously, seriously rare. 1960 Fiat 1100 Deluxe. I don't even know if we got these over here, to be honest with you. Perhaps we did. I've never seen one. Guide price between £5,000 and £6,000. I mean, there's little tiny bits of rust on this, but it doesn't look too bad. Look at that. It's a really kind of typical sort of interior of French and Italian cars of a time, little cheap French and Italian cars of the early 60s. Oh, look at that. Wow. It's like an Austin Rover branded Italian sticker thing on it. That's really weird. Yeah, it's a beautiful old car, isn't it? I mean, it's not really me, but that is extraordinary. Another car I've tested on the channel, not this exact one, but a similar one, is this 1997 Jeep XJ Cherokee 40 Limited. I forget the name of the colour, but this was the classic colour for these in this country. Mr. Coleman, Rush Mechanic, has one of these himself. This one is estimated at between £7,000 and £8,000. I prefer the interior of this one though, to be honest with you, is because it's extremely beige and very, very nice. This is a facelifted one, so it would be an early example of facelift that came in 1997. And this is kind of later 97 plate. Obviously it's got a tow bar on it, you know, which it hasn't been used to towing at some point. Oh, quite like it, yes. No surprise there though. Interesting wheels. I don't think those are standard, maybe they're an optional or something. 1991 Toyota MR2 Turbo. This is an SW20. Apparently this has only got 51,000 miles on the clock. At some point though, this car's been imported from Japan, because that number plate at the back is a dead giveaway. We had a speedo conversion at some point then. So it's an early one of these. This might even just be a Rev 1. I don't know what that is sort of doing there. Maybe there's a bit of bodywork that had to go in a polystyrene sheet, you know. Typical of one of these, those plates on it aren't, sorry, not the plates, the wheels are not standard. Guide price between £6,000 and £8,000. That seems pretty reasonable to me. Long gone are the days when you could pick one of these up for under £1,000 in good condition. 2004 Mercedes-Benz CLK C55 AMG, estimated between £7,000 and £8,000. I wouldn't say this is particularly me. If I would have a CLK, and I have driven the CLK on Channel 4, it was the previous generation to this. If I would have one, it would be, you know, dark blue or dark green, the beige leather interior. But this is the AMG version, and I'm sure this is very, very, very fast. Familiar looking sort of Mercedes mid-2000 interior. I'm sure there are bits in there from the W203 C-Class, things like that. But yeah, in terms of the condition of it, it doesn't look too bad at all. Interesting. Again, I've got a 928, I've had a 924 on my channel recently. Here's a 944. This is a 1986 on D. It's actually a local car to the area on an AA plate. So it's done 68,000 miles. I've forgotten they made an automatic version of this. Oh, it's still got the Mark 1 Golf door handle. Hopefully the interior is a little more conventional than 924. Those are unfathomable at times. Yeah, it's a little bit more conventional, isn't it? Typical 1980s though, white leather interior, and this is the wide body, of course, with the rear spoiler, so it looks a bit kind of aggressive, doesn't it? Can definitely see someone who worked at a stock exchange wanting to drive something like this. 1997 BMW E36 M3 Evolution convertible with less than 55,000 miles on the clock. Guide price for you £14,000 to £17,000. I like the colour of this car. I think the colour is really, really nice. I'm not maybe so keen on the colour of the interior. They've got some wood in it, which is good. These are very, very, very well sought after now for years. These have really climbed in price. Obviously, they were under 5,000 for a while. They're certainly not now. But yeah, E36 is very, very popular cars, particularly these sort of later ones, the Evolution models like this. Very interesting is this wide registration R50 Mini Cooper. This must have been supplied to a dealership in near London somewhere on an LE plate. Now this would have been for technical training and sales training purposes. Built in May 2001. The wide registration R50 Minis were only for sort of press cars or internally used by BMW UK or for sales and technical training at dealerships. So this is a really, really early one. I've actually driven one of these of this age because Mr. Richardson from Viewers Driving has one. He let me have a go in it. His was supplied to a dealership in Yorkshire. But this is in very nice condition actually. There's a real following for these. They have very small differences from the sort of main production R50s from sort of 51 plate onwards. Those plates, unfortunately, are going to have to be changed, aren't they? It's deteriorating a bit, but that's in pretty nice condition. The valuation is actually a bit higher than I thought. It's between £3,500–4,500. This shows how collectible these are becoming. Another BMW 3 Series convertible here. This is a 2006 E46 320 SE. Guide price between £3,000 and £4,000. Not sure whether I prefer the E36 or this. I mean, I probably prefer the E36 to be honest, because the colour and everything, but it's still pretty nice. It's not as fast as that M3, but it looks all up together. It's good. These are, again, becoming quite collectible cars. Sort of modern classic type thing. Right, let's see what else is in this room. 2008 Golf Mark. It's a late Mark 5. This the R32 4 Motion, estimated between £8,000 and £9,000. Now these have been thrashed, haven't they? So many of these. So it's good to see one that looks actually pretty standard. It doesn't look like it's been thrashed. Classic sort of colour for one of these, unless they're all black or silver or something. I mean, it's no doubt very, very fast and everything. It's just that interior is a little bit on the dark side for me. It's black on black on black. But most modern cars like that now, aren't they, really? Yeah, it looks pretty good. So standard Mark 5 Golf isn't worth this much, but none of them, apart from the R32, have this crazy V6 in them, do they? 1984 Datsun 280ZX. Apparently it's not quite finished yet. Estimates between £9,000 and £12,000. Obviously if this was a 240Z or a 260Z, it would be quite a bit more. Because it's a 280ZX, it's a very late one actually, it's just before the 300s came in. But it's not so much. Yeah, there's a few bits that need doing, aren't there? That rear tyre needs replacing, for example, as well. Just look at this sort of late 70s, early 80s interior. Dating from a time when Datsun had a vast, vast range. And all sorts of different cars of into sort of overlapping market segments, which I've driven quite a few actually. I've driven a 260Z, I've driven a Laurel, driven tons of them. Interesting. Can't believe this T2 bay window's still here. It's been at the last couple of auctions. What's it estimated between £15,000 and £19,000. 72. It's very nice. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but looks pretty good. It's even got little seats at the back. I'm not sure you could probably carry people in those during a journey without them being ejected forward, which wouldn't be too good, but it looks pretty good. Oh, 2007 Alfa Romeo 159 3.2 V6 Q4, and it's Japanese import. That's between £4,000 and £6,000. Viewers, we like a Busso V6 on this channel. And sort of biscuit leather interior. It's not quite beige, I'd say it's sort of more biscuit. Personally, it's almost sort of yellow. That's very nice, viewers. Interesting. So yeah, I have the four-wheel drive, automatic gearbox, cruise control, weird stalks. I've never driven a 159, viewers. Unfortunately, most of them in this country had engines we can't discuss, which makes things a bit challenging. But this one, rather tasty. Can't remember if this Z3 has been here once or twice, maybe both times I've been here. But it's a 99, I think it's a 1.8 or 1.9. It's got no reserve this time. They clearly want it gone. And judging by the fact there's quite a few people here, I'm sure that will happen. Do I prefer the blue one or the red one? I think I prefer the blue one just simply because of the colour. Everything else is really quite similar. I think they've even got the same wheels on them. It's slightly different. I think I prefer these wheels as well. Right, I suppose we better go outside now and take a look at what else is here. 1998 VW Golf Mark III GTI. I imagine this is the 8 valve version. It would say 16 valve if it wasn't. Not the most powerful GTI ever made, only 115 horsepower, and an engine that went into lots and lots of other Volkswagens as well, including the Passat, for example. Apologies for wind noise, viewers. Very sort of popular colour, this purple. It's similar to the Cassis Pearl Metallic on my Volvo C70, actually. That steering wheel is going to need some attention, isn't it? Yeah. I suppose it's the standard alloy wheels we would have come with, if you know they had others they came with. I'm not actually sure. Estimate between £3,200 and £4,000. Right, next we'll go for this E39 5 Series Touring. It's a pre-facelift one. This it's a 1998. It's a 523 SE. But some things struck me straight away with this car, viewers. I don't know if we can get inside because it looks like it's locked, but it has a beige leather interior with wood. I do like a nice beige leather interior, viewers. Something that I wasn't expecting to see here is this 1991 Bedford Rascal. It's got both the Bedford and Vauxhall badges on it. I presume it's because it's a changeover year or something. But it's only got 5,500 miles on the clock. Extraordinary. It was bought in 91, but it really wasn't used. Seat covers on here, based of course on the Suzuki Super Carry, things like that. We used to have some of these when I was at school, boarding school. They used them as laundry vans. So yeah, I'm familiar with these sort of things whizzing around. When was the last time you saw one of those? This 1999 Ford Puma's been here, yeah, the last couple of times. It's a bit of a shame, really. I don't know why somebody doesn't want this. It's got 22 Ford service stamps in the book. Estimates between 2.5 and 3,250. I don't understand why nobody wants it, really, viewers. But there we go. No, you know, there's no counting for taste, is there? Something that I do like very much is this 2000 Jaguar XJ Executive. It's an X308, so it has the V8 engine. I think we saw this at last month's sale, actually. It's got a beige leather interior. I think the car's locked, so we probably can't get inside there, but I do like that, viewers. Also next to it, we've got something else rather tasty, a 2003 Jaguar S-Type 3-litre Sport. Like the one that I drove earlier this month in West Midlands. This is an auto as well. Guide price on this one, which looks very clean, is between £2,500 and £3,250. Got MGF here. This looks like a freestyle model, actually. And those were really only sold on 51 plates. Maybe it's not, because the interior is not quite the same as the freestyles I've seen, but it's quite a late one, actually, this. And it's only got 35,000 miles from new. It looks pretty good. I don't know what it's actually worth, really. It's definitely not in no budget reviews money, I shouldn't think, but they've not put a reserve on it, so who knows, really. Here's a real rarity. It's a 1993 Daihatsu Sportrak. This is the EXI model. I don't know if those were standard wheels these would have come with. It looks to me like someone's put bigger wheels on it for off-roading, but there we go. It's got 86,000 miles on the clock. I wouldn't really know, unless a guide price on here, of how much this is worth, but apparently it's worth between £3,500 and £4,500. I just can't remember the last time I saw one. Absolutely, utterly amazing. So we're rounding off a trio of Jaguar X308 and X300 models here with this 2001 X308 XJR. This seems to be really popular on YouTube at the moment. I think I had one on number 27. There's been another one that's been on the Auto Alex channel. This one's estimated between £3,200 and £4,200. What appeals to me about this vehicle, I mean, this wouldn't be the spec of exterior weight I would choose for myself. I'd probably have something with a bit more chrome on it. Is that it's dark blue with a cream interior. I don't think that's a beige one, I think it's cream. And also we're not open, and so that Jaguar warning system is to really stay away, but that is very nice. All the words. You've got parking sensors, because they are a bit tricky to park. I've driven an X300 and they are a bit tricky to park. That is ever so nice. Also with parking sensors, this 2002 BMW 525i SE E39. It's only got 55,000 miles on the clock. Estimate is between £4,000 and £5,500. Personally, although it is a manual, so that will put the price up a little bit, I think I probably would rather have one of the Jaguars. That's just my preference, but those are nice as well. We have to skip a couple of cars. It feels like that taxi on the end, and also the Freelander you might have seen, because I'm afraid we don't talk about diesels on this channel. Very late, W126 I think these are called, a generation of Mercedes 300 SE. It's a 1990, estimates between £9,000 and £10,000. Very kind of imperious looking, isn't it? Very kind of chairman of industry, or, you know, head of government or something like that, isn't it? I don't think this is open, but I will try. No, it's not. Certainly these sort of deserve to pick up in value a bit. Ooh, I think this one's been looked after carefully. You've got a National Trust membership sticker in the back of there from 2017. Like, we know sort of person who's been after that, and it's not someone like Idi Amin. So 1976, Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow Series 1 long wheelbase with electric division. Something about this, it's between £3,000 and £5,000, suggests that maybe that suspension, these have citrus style suspension in them, isn't quite working as it is. There was a Bentley T1 that was at the October auction actually here, but sold for a lot more than its estimate, about, I think it was 10 times estimate. So, you know, you never know with these, but yeah, tape and everything. It might have electric divider viewers, but that's going to need quite a lot of restoration. Very kind of, you know, period looking car with a vinyl roof and everything like that, but I think that's probably one that's not going to be for me. Anyway, thanks ever so much indeed once again for watching this rather longer than planned Slightly Shambolic Shuffle around Barron's Classic Car Auctions. The auction's about to start, but I'd better head back actually. I'm afraid I can't stay. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like it's been in the comment below, and we shall see you again soon in the new year for more less than accurate information.